Welcome, and thank you for your interest in documentation at Interim Healthcare. This presentation will help you learn what you need to know about electronic visit verification, or EVV, and the new system of care documentation from AlayaCare. At the end of this training video, you should be able to explain the purpose of EVV and how it relates to your job. You'll also be able to document care on your tablet using the AlayaCare software. If you've been with us at Interim Healthcare for a while, you're probably already used to using a tablet computer to document your care. If you're new, this video is for you too. Perhaps you've used some other program to document care. Beginning in January of 2021, New York State mandated that agencies use electronic visit verification to provide them with the information they need to pay for care. Our current software system could not provide the information they need, so we decided to buy a new software program called AlayaCare. Not only does the new system provide the information for EVV, but it also offers some improvements we think you'll like. More about AlayaCare later. First, let's talk more about EVV. The most important ingredient to our compliance with EVV is you. Just by carefully documenting your care, using your tablet computer as shown, you are collecting information vital for EVV. Only a caregiver can complete EVV. So, EVV is a system that electronically verifies that your visits are taking place as scheduled. The software on your tablet collects and records important pieces of information when you document, which answer the questions who, what, where, and when. Who, the identity of the client, and your identity as a care provider. What service was provided to the client. Where, the location the service was provided, in most cases the client's home. When, the day the care happened and the times your care began and ended. So the software system verifies your visits, identifying your clock in and clock out time and location to ensure accurate payments for your services. It also helps to ensure that clients get the expected care. Visits happen as scheduled and all care plan tasks are done. Interim Healthcare is required to submit all of this visit-related data to the state for payment and storage. EVV is meant to accomplish several things: verification of important pieces of information such as location, type of service, the individuals providing and receiving the service, and the duration of the service. Elimination of mistakes in billing sent to the state because of hand entry. Validation of work hours for employees. Reduction of home health costs by eliminating paper timesheets, as well as the time costs for manual tracking and verification. Through these functions, EVV will combat fraud, waste, and abuse in the system. What does this mean for caregivers? How does your job change? You'll continue providing excellent care to your clients and documenting it on your tablet. Since many of you are already used to using the tablet computer to document, changing to the AlayaCare system will just involve a few small changes. With EVV, it will be crucially important that you do not forget your tablet and that you perform sign-in, care documentation, and sign-out as you will be taught. With that in mind, here are your expectations. You'll attend this training and an annual refresher on EVV. You'll train on the use of the AlayaCare software system. When using the system, you will call the office if anything is not working right or if you have a question. You'll use your tablet as required on every visit. The system is not totally inflexible, and as always, your Interim Healthcare team is here to help you learn and apply this information. Since EVV is so very important, we want to make it clear that disciplinary actions may be taken for actions not in compliance with interim healthcare policies. The disciplinary process is outlined on this slide. First infractions may result in a verbal warning or counseling. A second infraction may result in a written warning. And a third could be action up to and including termination. Clients are also required to be informed about EVV. The responsibility for this lies mainly with the entity approving their care, but they may have questions. A copy of the EVV fact sheet they may have received is included in your handout. If there are questions that you can't help your client with, have them call their insurance case manager or our office. We hope this portion of the training has been informative for you. You can ask questions of us anytime by calling the office. You can also email New York State at evvhelp@health.newyork.gov. Now let's talk about AlayaCare. We think you'll like this cloud-based mobile app for documenting client care. Because its information goes to the cloud instead of a server, we're expecting faster response time and overall more reliable access. The mobile solution you'll be using is actually an app, which can be downloaded from the App Store or Google Play. There are plenty of great new features. To name a few, cloud reliability. As we mentioned in the last slide, we expect more consistent, reliable access to the app because it is cloud-based. Customizable care plans. The care plans will be able to be made much more specific for the needs of individual clients. Also, because things operate more closely to real time, we'll be able to update a care plan and have it show up on your tablet without hours of turnaround time. Two-person visits. Now, when caring for a husband and wife or siblings during the same time frame, you'll be able to log into both clients and record care for each instead of needing paper for one client. Shift offers. You can receive and respond to offers of work from the office without needing a phone call. We can also notify you of upcoming requirements like healthcare information or driver's license renewals via the task function. So how do you use this new app? First, turn on your tablet as you normally would. Look for and click on the AlayaCare app. If you're using AlayaCare for the very first time, you'll need to enter the address associated with our account, interimcr.alayacare.com. This will only happen the first time you log in, so don't worry when you never see it again. To use AlayaCare, you need an email address. If you don't have one, we'll set you up with a special one. On this screen, you'll enter your email address and your password and then click Login with AlayaCare. When you log in, your schedule for today appears. If you're seeing more than one person, you'll see several color-coded entries. Green means clocked in, so if you see any green visits, that's a visit you're still clocked in on. Blue visits are those that are scheduled for some time today. A canceled visit will appear in gray, and if you've told us you're not available, you may see a red visit. A blue striped or dashed visit is one that takes place in the future. Find the visit you wish to clock into and click on it. This will take you to the Info tab for that visit. Here you can see some basic information about the client and the visit, like the client name, address, and instructions for getting in. Once you're inside and ready, click on the green clock button in the upper left of your screen. The COVID screening questions for you will pop up. Very important. If you have any doubts about the answers, call the office. Once you answer yes to any of these questions, the app will not allow you to clock in. Now, as your shift progresses, you can review the care plan tasks and mark them completed as you do them. The app will not allow you to clock out if all of your documentation is not done, so mark completed tasks as complete. If they cannot be completed, click on the little cartoon conversation bubble in the right-hand corner by the task. You can enter a short reason why the task wasn't done. Some examples might be refused, not requested this shift, self, or lacking proper supplies. You may also have one or more forms to complete. The Aid Daily Observation is one example. It's a quick form that prompts you about issues you may need to call the nurse about for your client. At the end of your assigned time, if your documentation is completed, you will clock out by tapping the red clock icon. If you are being relieved, please do not clock out until the next aide is present and ready to clock in. This prevents EVV errors. Any questions? Let's pause here to get your questions answered. Now let's review a live video on how to use the system. Thank you. Don't forget to complete the quiz. Okay, so the purpose of this video is to walk through the AlayaCare app and show you how to log in and do some of the features you're going to need to do when you're taking care of your client using AlayaCare. So the first thing you're going to do is enter your email address and your password. And click Login. And the first screen you're going to see is your schedule screen. On this screen you can see any visits that you have scheduled for today, and you can also see visits that are scheduled in the very near future. Today I have a visit scheduled with this client, and so to start that process I'm going to click on that client's name. And now I'm going to see some particulars about the visit. You'll be able to see the client's address, you'll be able to see the time of your visit, and any special instructions that there might be for this visit. In order to start your visit, you're going to click on the green clock in the upper left-hand corner. And the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to see your COVID questions. You have to answer all of your COVID questions in order to start your visit. One thing that we need to caution you about is if you answer yes to any of these questions, it's not going to let you go any further or complete your visit. So if you even think you might have to answer yes to any of these questions, please call us at the office so we can discuss the situation before you answer yes, because it will not let you complete your visit. So we're going to go through our questions and we are going to indicate that we are set to go on this visit. And click the submit button, and now you will be able to clock into your visit. Once you are clocked in, you'll get a notification that you're clocked in, and you'll also see that the ribbon at the top has turned green. That means we are clocked into our visit. The next thing we're going to do is skip over the overview and go to the client daily screen for COVID-19. You have to complete this before the end of your visit, so we're going to go ahead and do that right now. In order to do it, there's a little plus sign down in the lower right-hand screen. You're going to click on that, and it's going to bring up your client questions for COVID. And we are going to indicate that the client is okay for us to do our visit, no symptoms, no problems. And then down at the bottom right, there's a little submit, and you're going to submit that form. Okay, now we can just go back to the overview screen, and at the top you'll see some little icons. If there's anything important that you need to know about the client, or if the client has a pet, you see the little doggy icon there. Those are going to be colored, and you can click on those to find out any information. Some things that would be there would be the client's code status, things like whether they have any severe allergies, and whether there are any special precautions you need to follow during your visit. Now we're going to go on to our service tasks for this visit, and this is where you're going to see your care plan. You can see here that you also have your daily observation form, just like you did in Procura. So that's something you also need to complete before the visit is done. But we're going to take a look here at the client care plan tasks. Any task that you do for your client, you are going to check off just by clicking on the little box. If you're not going to do that activity for the client this particular visit, there's on the right-hand side of the screen, there's a little cartoon bubble like you would see in a Sunday cartoon over a character's head. You're going to click on that, and you can add a comment. That comment might be something like the client refused, it's not requested this shift, they were out of shampoo, so you couldn't do a shampoo, whatever the case may be. So in this case, we're going to say that the client refused to have their hair combed, and we're going to save that comment. You have to either check off or comment on every care plan task. You will also see notifications like that the client is a full code and the client is on fall precautions. These are important also, and they're just to make sure that you are aware of these needs for the client. Before we can finish, we do have to go back to that daily observation, and if I click on that, it's going to bring up the form. And you're very familiar with these questions because they're the same ones that were in Procura. Have you noticed a change in your client's behavior since the last visit? No. Have you noticed a change in the client's condition since your last visit? Okay. If you say yes, because they have a bruise or something like that, the box comes up that says, if yes, please explain briefly and call the nurse. So it's prompting you to indicate what the problem was. There was a bruise on the client's left elbow, and you can note that you called the nurse and who you spoke with. But we're going to click back to no, because we've explained that now. The client had all the supplies we needed, and there were no safety issues. And we're going to submit that form as well. So now you can see that we've done 2 out of 2 forms that were required for our visit, the aid daily observation and the client daily screen for COVID-19, and we've checked off all of the care plan tasks that appear for that client. At the end of your visit, you're going to get a client signature, So you're going to go to the client signature page, and it will ask you if the client is able to sign. If your client is not able to sign, you can select no, and it's going to ask you for a reason. If you click on the drop down, you have a couple of reasons that you can choose from. They're physically not able to sign, they're not feeling well, they refuse to sign, the client is not at home, which I hope you're not going to be putting, or the client is asleep at the end of the visit. If any of those circumstances exist, you can click on that and submit. But if we go back to an answer of yes, a signature box comes